Welcome, everybody, to the Fantasy Football Journeymen podcast.
You better be praying to God because, you're 14 and losses in a row. You're going to need Jesus.
Am I wrong?
I thought you were pretty wrong, yeah.
All right, welcome back, Fantasy Football Journeyman. This is week 10 for us, episode 10. Today we got Dallas at Seattle, Lumen Field, November 30th in Chicago. Not a bad night, though. It's around 40, 50 degrees, so looking forward to stepping outside, getting some fresh air. We got Woj, our fearless leader. We got Ryan.
Hey.
And you got Bobby here. So we're really excited about today. We got some great segments. We're going to do our movie review, our standard, first and 10 for us, going through our bets, talking about the State of the Union. Mm-hmm. And then we got
the Bears, Packers to be.
And then a fun second segment where we have a few topics we need to cover.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to kick it back to, actually, before we get started, I do have a little Q&A.
Yeah,
do trivia. All right, for you guys, since we're at Lumen Field, right? That's the name of Seattle's stadium. When was it constructed? What year? Give me a year.
2003.
1994.
2002, July. Close.
And it was called Quest Field back in the day.
I believe that's correct. All right, next question. There's three. When was Seattle's last playoff appearance? Who did they play? And do you guys know the outcome of that game?
I'm guessing it was like 19, and they played San Fran.
You got one of those right.
2016, San Fran.
It was last year. They made it to the playoffs, first round playoffs. San Fran, they lost 41-23, and that was.
I totally forgot Gino had that good bounce back year.
I think they were 9-9 going into it, so they did, like I said, squeak their way into the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then the last one, closest to within a few hundred. What's the capacity at Lumen Field?
69,000.
Damn.
I will go with 68,000.
It's 68,740. So, Woj, pretty close to it.
I think, but if we're going Price is Right rules.
Price is Right, you're gone.
You're
gone. So that was a little bit of Q&A to get things started.
I like it. That was good.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Great Q&A, Bobby.
Yeah, no, it's a good intro.
Can I tell you guys? I was a low key closet Seahawks fan back in the day.
I knew it.
They were my second favorite besides the Bears. But
you liked Hasselbeck, didn't you?
No, Sean Alexander.
Alexander, love him.
Still have the jersey, by the way. Still have it.
We have a closet Dallas fan here, so he's really excited.
Yeah, he's got the Zeke jersey in his closet.
Zeke won me the championship.
We them boys, right?
It's been discussed on a previous podcast that, I went with the guy who single-handedly took my team to the ship that had to be in what was his rookie year? 2017, maybe? I don't know. I don't fact check on here, and I don't care. But Zeke is the man. So let's get into a real quick fantasy because the game's kind of already underway.
Yes.
Picks for the game, we all think pretty much Dallas, right? It's been happening almost every single week. I feel like we're not even giving it a second thought. It's always being one-sided.
It's those Thursday night games. The matchups are usually poor.
I'm wondering if, who has the most wins among us if we have to go back through the footage.
We'll have to
that'll be a fun.
We'll have to do research on that.
Well, that'll be well in the making. But, you know what, man? It is something to mention, though, that people who watch the majority of the episodes, Aaron, is not here for the second week just because he had some other stuff to do. But, I want to get everybody on the pod. Anytime, anywhere. Aaron will be back. I just want those Aaron fans to know out there. He's coming back. Don't worry.
Yeah, he will.
But, fantasy. Hit me with fantasy for the what you got going against you, going for you.
You guys go ahead. Let me pull mine up.
All right, mine's very simple. I have Tony Pollard, couple leagues. I'm going against, I think, Jake Ferguson, and that's it. And I think CeeDee Lamb in one league, but it might not matter. So, TP all the way.
All right. I don't really know who I'm playing but I know who I have, so I'll just go with that. I have Brandon Aubrey in my big league. He just got a field goal. That's awesome. Let's see. I think I got Ferguson on my bench in your league. And then I don't believe I have any other Seahawks or Cowboys, so that's it for me.
Okay. What you got?
I'm against Dak, so this is going to be a rough one. This is in the league that I'm just getting crushed in, so I'm not going to go too deep. I have Lockett, though, in this one and my family league. And family league, I don't care. I'm already locked into the playoffs. So we'll see how he does. But, he's had some lackluster performances the past couple of weeks.
I was going to say, actually, you just reminded me. I have Lockett on my bench. In
Fair.
the one league.
It might be the right move. But
But
like I said,
it is.
He's forgotten.
In either case, I'm already in the crappy bracket, and I'm already in the good bracket across both my leagues.
So, Bobby, what are your records across your leagues right now?
8-4, 9-3, and 4-8.
I don't know why you're looking at me. I don't know.
What? Yeah, 4 and 8, dude. I have the most points against.
Oh no!
By well over 100.
How about you, Woj? What's your records looking like?
I'm rocking 9-3 and 1. I think.
Man, those 4 other people in that league must be.
That's in 3 penis one. Shout out.
The league where he has like the third lowest points scored against or something or whatever.
mean, it's such
Right.
a
He's got the easiest schedule to the playoffs, I guess. Yeah. All
no,
right, continue.
it's not that. I'm just gonna make a quick interjection on that.
He takes this so personal.
Fraud alert.
It
fraud
did
alert.
perturb me that I got a lot of fraud out there. That's fine. I'm a bigger man. I'm not going to address that. But the points against versus points for, I talked with somebody else about this. That
You are very tall.
What?
So you're a bigger man. You are very tall.
Okay.
Yeah, dude, that was like 10 seconds late.
Yeah,
All right.
what's happening? So
Cut it.
the points against, just a lot of people have said like, oh, well, like, your team is most points. Most points least points against, but like not the most points for. And I'm still at 9-3. I'm like 50 points now behind one person. So I'm like, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I don't have choice over the schedule of what those guys do against me.
I'm just saying luck favors you right
but
now.
It's like the
fine.
9th person to say like, hey, points against is pretty low, huh?
I'm
like,
just saying, it's like for your path to the playoff, their quarterback ends up getting injured or like
we'll just see when it's nut cutting time when your team's got it.
it's playoff time. Let's see how it goes.
So that's kind of like the segue here is that like in your leagues, what do you guys really think like of your chances to make the playoffs? I'm gonna go real quick because mine are very quick. 1, I'm in. 1, I'm out. 2 are literally have to win to make the playoffs. So simple.
This is make and break week. This is literally the make and break week for most fantasy teams that are just floating in the middle. What about you?
So the one league, the big league, I'm sitting in third right now at 7-5, but like it's stacked up. There's like 3 other teams with that record, and like he's 6-6. There's another 6-6. So really,
so there's a lot of competition.
So you got to win.
Close.
There's no room for error. So my chances hopefully are good, but honestly could go either way. It's so close. But I like
that's a fun type of league
I
to get in.
I like my team, but you never know. And then the other one league I already clinched. I'm 10-2. Woo! It's my 2 quarterback league. And then the other league, his league, I'm 7-5 as well, I believe, and I'm like tied for like tied for 4th or something with like 3 other teams.
Do you have anyone in that league that has only 1 or 2 wins?
Yeah, Serge has 1 win.
Serge, shout out.
I just beat him last week, actually.
Oh my God, 1 win. That's
dude.
rough.
We gotta get little Serge Stein on the pod though.
Yeah, we got it.
And speaking of Serge, the betting man.
Bets.
Let's flip it. Like last week was a little discombobulated. I was doing the producing right on cue, and it's gonna be a funny episode. I'm just gonna say in post, we're gonna put some crazy stuff in there.
Have some fun with it. Yeah.
It hasn't come out yet, but working on it. But
our 18 fans out there are totally upset.
I mean,
I hope this blows up just a little bit. Un poquito.
Comment if you're watching the pod. We want to know.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, comment, please. Let us know.
Tell us your darkest secrets. No, I'm just kidding. That could have gotten weird. All right. Woj's wagers, Bobby's bets. I'm gonna start it off. Tyler Lockett, 20+ receiving yards, Tony Pollard touchdown. Ferguson, 35 alternate receiving yards, and Tony Pollard for 65.5.
Oh, DK taking it to the house. Damn, he is fucking fast as shit.
That's the only one I got. I mean, DK finally showing up. I mean, it's about damn time.
He threaded that needle, though. It just got over the corners.
Is it me, or did it looked even better in the throwback Seahawk unis? Those things are sweet.
No, they look great, and that was a on-point shot by Gino. Okay, mine, I got 2. Jake Ferguson, 25+ alternate. DK, 4 receptions. One of them right there. Dallas winning at halftime and end of regulation, and 250 for Dak Prescott in the air. That's a 4-leg parlay, and I got another one. But CeeDee Lamb scores, Tony scores, under 47.5. Dallas Cowboys 10-point spread, but this kind of hurts that.
I mean, it's very
Still
early,
very
so
early.
I don't look at it as a deal breaker. I honestly, dude, if you need Dak to throw yards, that's helpful because some games I'm like, is he gonna throw, a lot of yards because they're up by like a couple earlier games for Dak just had like nothing, just like hey they ran the ball 20 times and then they got a pick six, but I like the chances at least were all positive enough, right? So like we have playoffs or better.
Hopefully.
Or the worst case scenario, like I'm out, but I know that I'm not going to be Sacco. So like that's a solace of like I'm always in the middle.
We can all agree on that.
Yeah. I mean, who's got the Sacco going in our league in the
It's a three-way race.
Three-way race with who?
Juice, Steve, Flans,
Yeah.
and who's the last one?
You guys have real cool nicknames.
What's his name?
Who's what's his name?
John.
John Qualia. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, three-way tie there, and then I think in three penis one it's pretty much Serge versus Joe. Whoever's gonna have pretty much a worse record.
Joe's dying in that one too.
He auto drafted his entire team except for a couple picks because your guys' family draft was on the same time. Yeah.
Rule number 110: play like a champion.
Yep. Agreed. You know how many starters got injured within the first couple of weeks? Just saying.
Got to play that waiver wire right.
Yep.
I mean, yes, and yes, but also no. So, I agree.
Pray tell.
I agree that you shouldn't auto draft your team if you can help it. I mean, if you're like incapacitated.
I mean, I've seen people who have won
with
auto drafting.
My brother-in-law won with auto draft.
But then two, I do say like, yeah, you do have a point in that like you can play the waiver wire to an extent to really get better players. But three, I think is just this year. I weirdly keep saying like every year I feel like I keep saying the same thing. Like this is the craziest year of injuries I've ever seen.
I think it's only going to get worse.
Like it's unbelievable.
I think
how much
they're going to have
injuries.
people like running on their team from the practice squad just to fill the roster because they have so many injuries.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm sure there's going to be a lot of no names the last couple weeks because it's like you're out of the playoffs. Are you really?
But what a great opportunity for those same individuals, though. Like, hey, you're getting a moment legit moment in the spotlight. Tom Brady when Bledsoe went down, right? That was his moment in the spotlight. And 15 years later and a bunch of rings. Sometimes all you need is that opportunity to shine. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
For some of these guys that know that if I don't make or break it this year, I'm not going to be welcomed back.
Yep. I am a firm proponent of I want to see new players like get their shot if they're deserving. Like I would obviously not want to see a guy just like, hey, because the three people in front of you got injured, now you're just thrust up into the, starting lineup and then get torched or whatever. It's just not putting them in a great position. But I mean, there's a couple of segments that we're gonna get to eventually, but we got like this is unprecedented. We kind of like ran through all of our first topics pretty quick. So like this is just.
We didn't talk about the State of the Union though.
Oh,
I do want to talk about
too.
Monday Night Football a little bit.
Okay.
And I call that our melatonin minute because. I don't think anyone had sat around to watch that game in its entirety.
Oh, yeah, dude. It was so boring that I forgot about it. That's honestly.
Yeah. So
that game,
we could talk about that, right?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Dive
Let's
in.
do it.
All
Sorry.
right, we're diving
Can
in.
I just say, can I start?
Yes, go.
What a pointless win and a stupid win for the Bears. That was terrible. Now they just got a worse draft pick. And for what? The win means nothing.
Pride.
They didn't even score a touchdown.
No touchdown game.
Fields didn't look good from what I saw. I was at work. But, just like at the end of the day, at the end of the season, this win will do nothing for us. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I don't want to be like that kind of fan, but at the same time, it's like, it would have been better if they lost. I was kind of rooting against them. I wanted them to somehow
I also wanted them to
make
lose,
it close,
no offense.
but lose. I don't know.
Okay. Well, your position on tanking is very well affirmed, not shared by many. But
Could we at least discuss the fact that there was 4 turnovers that the Bears defense created, and the final score was what, 16-12 or something?
hit 12 to 9.
12-9.
Jeez Louise, that's
12-9 or 12-10.
unreal. And of those turnovers, I would say that at least 2 of them were on their side of the field. Like, you had 20 or 30 yards to go, and that's it.
I absolutely agree, and it's kind of what Ryan was picking up on. Is that Justin Fields is still not playing very well. I think he's, in my mind, the decision would be you are playing the last 4 games of the year, I think, are left, with the the idea in mind that if he does well, let's sign him for another year because he's still on a rookie contract.
Well, you're going to have to sign him for longer probably.
You don't sign him for another couple years, though, but I don't think that his play now has really garnered interest in other teams that are we desperately need a quarterback because, there's in almost every QB room, there's a guy who's you think he could probably do something there. Rodgers is waiting in the wing, which honestly, sorry, just a real quick divergent there.
Sure.
Ryan, the Achilles tendon master over here, we were talking about it a little bit last week, though, with the Rodgers injury and him coming back. Because what's the thing again?
They reopened their practice window on him, the 21-day practice window. He's only, I think, 11 weeks since injury or since surgery, whatever that is, and that's unprecedented if he would come back. Usually it takes you at least minimum 4.5, 5 months, and that's really fast. Usually it's a 6 month to a year, 6 to 9 month at least injury.
So, but opening him up though for this window, I don't think that necessarily is a guarantee though that he comes back.
No, it's just crazy the fact that they're even considering it. It's
to no value. They're not playoff bound.
Yeah.
There's only negative by bringing him back now, getting him some not reps in a real game, but practice, kind of greasing the wheels a little bit, get it going. Sure, going. Sure, but no, he should not see any play time.
No, you should just honestly play whoever you have. Obviously they're done with Wilson. Mm-hmm. See what that Boyle guy does. I guess I don't know, but. Or maybe keep playing Zach Wilson and hope he improves, but he looks pretty garbage.
Yeah, they don't have a quarter. They're waiting for Rodgers to come back then. But, okay, sorry, there's a little quick tangent. But all right, so Bears are, again, I'm still a proponent of play well. You still have the Carolina pick, which seems to be that they're not great. So,
yeah,
the
that's positive.
Let's go. I don't want to necessarily take the tanking vibe because I don't trust right now that the Bears will select 2 good players in the first round. I think 1 is their max. If they can get the pick in the right position, we're 1 quarterback away, honestly, from being a decent franchise. And that's all that I'm looking for. I'm looking for decency.
Either way, we should have 2 top 10 or top 5 picks probably, but
I absolutely agree.
Still, it's
but yeah, that's kind of the Bears. Again, I literally forgot that there was a game on Monday night. It was so boring. But Bobby, hit me with the Packers take. What are you feeling?
Well, like I said, we had a big win against friggin' Detroit on Thanksgiving, which was really cool to watch.
Jordan Love went off.
Yeah. I'm still not sold on Jordan Love.
I can sense you're confused.
There's some confusion in the air because they did show, I'd say, a stellar performance, but I also think they got bailed out by the, certain calls like that fumble that wasn't a fumble that they took to the house for a defensive touchdown. Did he have a great game? Yes. I'm not trying to take that away from him, but I guess being a good quarterback is not always saying having great games, but minimizing mistakes. And I don't think he's at that level where he knows how to minimize mistakes.
So, based on what you've seen so far, would you want to bring him back or draft somebody, bring somebody else in?
I think it wouldn't. We got to stick with him for at least the foreseeable future for the next, the next year.
Do you have any idea what his contract currently is?
I have, since let me go check the head office. No, I don't know what his contract is.
You're a Packers fan / owner. You're
Right.
basically almost there to
I have
Jackie
someone
Moon.
else doing my work for me. That's why it's ownership.
Who, Brenda?
Yeah.
Owner.
No, but like I said,
Yeah,
we'll have to see what he could do before. I think that we should bring in a new talent. Does this have to be a first-round draft pick?
That's my question.
Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I'm on the fence about it. I think that we need to clean up our line first.
Yeah.
Wait, O-line?
or D-line?
Both.
Well, no, your D-line is still fucking stout. You got Kenny Clark.
No, I know that, but aging a little bit. Like I said, we need to bring in some fresh blood on both sides. Offensive more than defensive line would be my priority. But
You need
what do we need?
a running back.
Healthy Aaron Jones.
Or a healthy Aaron
Aaron
Jones.
Yeah, 30,
that could solve both your problems.
Oh, my God. I'm a big Aaron Jones fan, 33, love it. But seeing him out the way he's been out this season, I had to drop him in my one league because he's not coming back anytime soon. And if he does, it's going to be, what are they going to put him in for a couple snaps? Because they don't want to re-injure it.
He had that week 1 where he was just amazing
blew up, yeah.
and then hurt himself, and ever since, downhill.
I still think that we're going to take the Bears next time we play you guys, no matter what.
I wouldn't. I mean, we can only
hope you
kick
do.
field goals.
Yeah.
But
My only advice would be just pick up the Bears kicking field goal.
Oh,
kicker.
Santos is
Why
putting
not?
up like 20 points a game for fantasy. I love it.
Yeah, just that's the only Bears player I would take at this time. I'm hoping that maybe I develop that into a segment of like, do I draft a Bears current player? And it's always been iffy. Try to have a Bears player in my lineup just for it's a selfish reason. I just want to see him. Just never hasn't happened in a long time.
I genuinely don't like doing that because they're so unreliable. I mean, maybe back in the day, like Matt Forte for sure.
Forte, I definitely had.
He was a guy I would like, or Robbie Gold, or like maybe like if it's maybe a 2-quarterback league, Jay Cutler could be my second quarterback. And like Marshall and Jeffrey.
Dude, I'm just saying, a 2-quarterback league. What kind of Wild West shit are you guys doing? That's crazy.
It's fun.
That's crazy.
Makes it interesting.
Does yours average score for a week?
I must say also,
average scores have to be like 150.
You don't have to play. Technically, it's an OP position. You don't have to play quarterback, but you'd be stupid not.
Yeah, you'd be stupid not to.
But if you're in like a pinch, you need to have anybody.
Woj's thumb straight down.
Yeah. No, but what's the average weekly? Like, what are the scores on average? Like, if someone did bad, they
anywhere from like 120 to 160.
Oh my God, that's the average. That's incredible. All right.
I mean, it could be less sometimes.
No, I get that, but like,
I mean, if you want to get a win, you probably got to put up at least 120 to have a chance.
Yep. Gotcha. And most leagues, 120, you're having a good
Last week,
week.
I put up 158.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. That's a lot. And in this year, Brad put up like 200 and something points. I think one guy in your league did, right?
Yeah, he put up 197 on me, and that's with. Yeah, there was a 43 by the Houston quarterback that week. Stroud, and all of his other position players, wide receiver and running back collectively, averaged around 27. So that was fun, but I knew I was dead right away, so
quick clean kill, right?
Yeah, shotgun right to the face.
There you go.
Nothing to it.
Well, I would want it in the back, if I'm being honest.
I want to see it. I want him to look in my eyes. This is a man who's dead in fantasy.
Jesus Christ. This is what fantasy does to us. We go real
dark a little.
Scorched earth.
Oh, that's fine.
Oh, I love it, baby. All right, so
clip that.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I think we got a potential though for
that was a good soundbite.
The stuff that Aaron did though, and as the opening clip, I think we could still.
We got a few different ones to select from. Now.
I think we'll have some good stuff.
Pause real quick. I know this is Dobbs thoughts real quick. Just shotgun fire.
Josh Dobbs.
Dobbs and his performance as a quarterback, or thoughts on him in general. Just real quick.
I mean, you look good the first couple weeks on the Vikings, but last couple, I don't know. I mean, if you think you got something else, someone else you want to see, maybe bring him in. But otherwise, maybe just let him play it out because he's shown potential too. I don't know.
I definitely knew that. Not new. I assumed that he wasn't going to keep that type of performance up. And
unsustainable. Right?
Yes, that's a great term for it. It's just like at a certain point, I knew that it was going downhill. Didn't think it would be 4 picks worth, just like
that was rough.
So I don't know. I don't think he's the guy going forward. I think they really Minnesota has to evaluate their quarterback situation.
He's been really up and down, even with the Cardinals when he was on their team. He had like good weeks where they beat the Cowboys that one week.
I think he's a coachable, for my opinion, coachable quarterback, but more of a game managing quarterback. Like he is not going to. He's not going to take you through the playoffs. But if you need someone to pull together a few wins during the, stretch of the season, he might be that guy.
Right.
Which is okay. It's okay to have a Kyle Orton. Everyone likes Kyle Orton.
That's basically, too, what the Vikings need right now with Kirk Cousins tearing his Achilles. Is like they need a guy to come in, manage the team, ride them, hopefully, if they can, in the playoffs. And that's seemingly what he could do.
It's possible.
I got Dobbs as definitely a journeyman in the NFL.
All right,
Oh,
I like
yeah,
it. Journeyman
absolutely.
clip.
That's what I really think. Somebody, I think maybe on Monday, Kyle Schroeder brought it up that Dobbs is definitely like that guy who's been at a bunch of teams and takes it couple of years here, couple of years here, kind of moves around.
And he doubled as an NBA player going as Charlie Villanueva because they look the exact same.
They do look very similar. Any NBA fans out there, they'll know exactly what he's talking about. That's pretty good.
Dude, Bland right now and Metcalf, he's just carving them up. This is like Thanksgiving turkey.
I mean, he's a freak athlete. He's so
I
tall
get that he's
and
a
big.
freak athlete.
Yeah.
He's already had 100 yards, and it's still in the first.
That's some Madden numbers
Two
right there.
catches
I love that.
for over 100 and a tutty.
Unreal.
That's a good start. So,
Yep.
Ryan, I want you to kind of break it down because we're finally getting to our prisoners
You want me to
movie.
tease it?
So, yeah, we got 20
walk
seconds
us-
left.
yep.
So,
All right, so I'll go again. Bobby had a list of movies. It was like mindfuck movies or something like that.
Well, it's different categories, different genres, but like 150 movies to see that hit these
So
categories.
We picked the movie Prisoners, which I believe you guys did not see, right?
No.
correct. Did not
And
see
I
it.
had seen once in the theater and loved it, so we decided to do a rewatch. I wrote up some questions, some categories we're going to go over, and we're going to give ourselves a little review and a little categories with it.
It's going to be a deeper dive too, folks. So we're going to be going into a little nitty gritty of this, but it'll be a good segment, and I hope you guys comment and let us know what you think.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right. Peace.
All right, see you soon.
Coming up. Coming down.
All right, and welcome back, everybody, to our second down, where we are going to be going down movie lane to Ryan's reviews. We were doing the movie Prisoners from 2013.
We teased it in the last episode, so everybody should be
So
watching
just
along.
Fair warning, this will have spoilers, so if you haven't seen it, you're warned. All right, directed by Denis Villeneuve, 2013, starring Hugh Jackman, Jake Gyllenhaal, Viola Davis, Maria Bello, Terrence Howard, Melissa Leo, and Paul Dano. Other works by Denis Villeneuve you might have seen to be Enemy, Sicario, Arrival, Blade Runner 2049, and Dune Parts 1 and 2. So, and also the cinematography was done by Roger Deakins, well-known cinematographer, probably one of the best in the biz, 5-time BAFTA award winner, 2-time Academy Award winner for cinematography. So, you guys hadn't seen the movie before. I have.
Hold on, can we take a quick pause? That's some fucking research there, man.
Yeah.
I
no,
do it.
Just so you know, when we do the other ones, I'm not doing that much research.
Well, I'm gonna be fully honest with you. He's a passion of mine, movies. You guys know, and movie podcasts especially. Shout out to the Rewatchables, my favorite one. So I definitely took influence from them, borrowed some things from them. You'll notice if you listen to that pod as well. Check it out if you haven't. But yeah,
No,
so we're gonna do
no,
like
only watch this podcast.
do both. So we're gonna do like basically a review, and then I have categories for the movie. We're gonna have I gave them questions to, and we'll go over our answers.
I was floored by that intro. That was just, dude.
Creme de la creme.
Here's the Blu-ray. I have it, by the way.
Boom.
It is.
Production value. All right, hit us with the first one, man.
So, okay. Well, first of all, I just want to say, what did you guys think of the movie? Like, don't give away like your grade or whatever, but did you enjoy watching it?
It was an enjoyable movie.
It was a good movie. I was definitely intrigued the whole time.
Good character development on each side.
Okay, now for me, like this is a thing I didn't ask you guys, but like for me, watching this movie, it felt like a few other movies or shows. Kind of felt like a little bit of Zodiac, Seven, like an adult Stranger Things kind of thing.
I can see the blend of those movies.
The Vanishing. Yeah, like anything else you guys think it reminded you of off the top of your head? Kind of putting you on the spot with this one. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I don't have a.
That's fine. You just like I don't
I would
think
say Zodiac is close. I get the feel of it.
it was
but
a very like dark, ominous, a lot of rain in it. I like that. There was a cool atmosphere. Cool. It was very good. Very,
Like the tone throughout the movie.
yeah, like
too,
it had a
yeah.
very.
where
yeah.
did it take place again?
That's the thing. I had that later in unanswerable questions or picking
I
nits.
thought it was.
I don't know where it is. I was gonna ask. I don't know where it is, and then
I thought it was some small
Okay.
town up north, or like one of the northern.
I want to say
states.
that I did figure it out, but I don't remember it at this point. But
All
Brian, all right, just
So
go
should we
with
give a synopsis of the movie really quick, or you want like a brief?
You're running the show.
You're
man.
right.
All
Yeah,
right.
you give us a quick summary.
All right,
and
so
then we'll
I'll
go
give
through our
a quick
questions.
summary. So basically, two families are having Thanksgiving dinner. Hugh Jackman is one family. Terrence Howard is another. They're friends. They both have kids, adult, teenage kids, and little girls who are like maybe 5, 6 years old, something like that. They walk away during the party. They were supposed to tell their brother and sister, take them with them, and they didn't, and they wind up missing. And they don't know where they went, if they were kidnapped. There was a mysterious RV that was seen. They think might have something to do with it.
Like a Winnebago.
Right, and Jake Gyllenhaal is the investigating officer, detective, low-key. He's the head on the case, looking for who they think took him, and Paul Dano is one of the suspects, and he's an interesting, odd character with a weird past, mysterious vibes, if you will.
Okay.
So that's basically like
Yeah, no, that was great unbundling.
All right.
Good work.
So from here on out, it's going to be spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers. Well, yeah.
I mean, you should have watched the movie. It's 10 years old. But let's move.
You've been warned.
Yeah, we're going to go through some
All right,
questions.
so
now.
favorite scenes or most rewatchable scenes. I have an honorable mention. I like the opening scene with Hugh Jackman and his son hunting the deer. Thought that was pretty cool. They have the Our Father prayer going over it while he's shooting the gun. And then they have that nice talk in the pickup truck about being prepared for life. He has a good quote in that scene. That's just like probably an honorable mention, though. And then the first scene I have is the Thanksgiving dinner. Where are the girls? Where are they at? They're missing. They said they could go somewhere. All of a sudden, they're gone. You didn't see them. They say ask the brother and sister no, and they run out into the rainy streets, knocking on neighbors' doors. Where are they? I don't know.
In a panic, yeah.
And the
Okay, the panic.
mysterious
mode.
RV. I saw that. Well, now it's gone. Okay, next scene I have. Jake Gyllenhaal gets the call, and he finds Paul Dano's RV, the one that the kid saw in the street earlier. It's really rainy, and like the cops are surrounding him. He tries to escape, rams his truck or RV into the woods, and then he goes in there, gun ablaze, hands up or whatever, and then we're off, kind of from that point with that.
Yeah, it's Gyllenhaal, the detective.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, Gyllenhaal and his
Detective
unit,
Loki.
are taking in.
Okay.
I'm not gonna use actors' names more than the characters' names, but I might interchange them. Okay.
Jump to our first question here in a little bit.
Or do we want to get that's our scenes then, right?
No, I'm just going through a bunch of them. I had a bunch written.
How many scenes, I guess, did you
Yeah,
have?
you have a few.
I'll
pages
shorten it up.
there.
I'll shorten it up. Don't worry.
No. I'm
No, you
saying
don't need to shorten it up.
You don't
I'm
need to
just
shorten it
curious.
up, but like, are we gonna?
We had those questions there.
Okay,
we
well,
gonna
you guys want? Why don't you give me your scenes first? How about that?
Yeah, then you can maybe
That's
go
fine.
for a little bit
That's
longer.
fine.
What would you want to go ahead?
Yeah, dude. I just like I like the movie in general, but the one scene that I kind of was very like suspenseful, and I loved that was that when they broke into Gyllenhaal, Loki, whatever detective follows this other kind of suspect because he sees him at a vigil
Yes.
for the girls. And then you get a random tip that this guy comes in and buys children clothes. And then he follows him, tails him to his house. I forgot the guy's name. He's got a weird
He's
name.
the
but
guy
in-
from The Dark Knight, the crazy mental patient cop guy. He's also in Ant-Man.
Yeah, he's in. He's also in the polka dot.
David Dashmalian or
Yeah.
something.
So he follows him, gets into his house because he's acting real squirrely, and then there's this room just full of like 2 feet long trunks or carrier cases,
Yes.
and they're all deadbolt locked with a lock
Padlock.
There you go. And then there's just like a moment of panic, kind of same thing, kind of same vibe, I would say, of the panicking of like you're about to find something out, like something's gonna happen right here, and then I was just gonna
Right,
leave it
and
from
you
there.
got
But
you got two in that scene: the dead pigs in the sink, and the bloody clothes with the snakes in the trunks. Yeah, that was good. That was on my list.
Yep.
How about you, Bobby?
I had 2 different scenes that I thought were just well crafted. The abandoned apartment. Just the introduction of that.
The one that Hugh Jackman's
yes.
deceased father owned.
Yes, correct. And then, believe it or not, and I know this might be hard for you guys, the end scene. I really enjoyed that noise, that little, that end scene, the cinematography, the end scene.
With the faint whistle.
The faint whistle, that got me, and I just, like, everything, like, all encompassed
Yeah.
right there at the end.
I like that too.
It left, open for
It's
interpretation.
kind of like, does he hear him? Is he gonna
Right.
find him or not? Yeah,
Right.
Those-
I really enjoyed that. Yeah.
those are great. Yeah, I wrote down a shitload,
Okay.
but like just to go through really quick, the interrogation where he interrogates Paul Dano, Jake Gyllenhaal for the first time. He has him like pinned up against the wall. That was really good. The one where he finds the hidden room behind the fridge at the priest's house and he finds that dead body in there. That was
yeah, that was
that
good.
was good. This one I thought was really good. I have Hugh Jackman comes in hot. They let him go. He gets the phone call. The police release Paul Dano. He fucking pulls in the parking lot, plows through the cops,
And
throws
grabs
him
the
down,
Kid, yeah,
and-
between the
and Paul-
No,
cars.
and then
and
yeah,
Paul Dano whispers, "They didn't cry when I left them."
yeah,
And it's like, whoa, like maybe he did take him. Like now you're thinking,
Yeah.
shit, like this is on.
yeah. I also do think that like that part of it is like I kind of suspected Paul Dano's character at that moment a little bit, but then also he is mentally challenged. Like he has like whatever it is.
See, I was gonna say that's true. And then the next thing that go kind of with that was like you knew something was maybe off. Hugh Jackman's like stalking him from his car, and he sees him choking his dog. He's walking the dog.
Yeah,
and
dude, that was
he
wild.
holds
That
him
was-
up, and then you hear him singing the Jingle Bell song that the girls were singing at Thanksgiving,
yeah.
and you're like, okay, this guy clearly something. If he didn't
Yeah.
do it, he's involved some
There's
way.
breadcrumbs leading
Right.
right to him.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then, like you said, the apartment building. I have notes for that. I had that the moral dilemma with him and Terrence Howard, where he shows him and he's beaten up and he's tied to the radiator, and Terrence Howard's like, "We gotta let him go. We gotta take him to the police." He's like, and here the quote he says right here. I have.
Are we doing our quote question
Oh,
next?
this is a nomination, I
Okay.
guess. Police won't do shit. Someone has to make him talk. We hurt him or they will die. That's the choice. That's the choice you have to make, and I've made my choice. That was one of the ones I had standing out. And I would just have, again, you had the candlelight vigil. That was great. I would just say also for me, really, I think for me the favorite would be, it's hard to pick, but the last 35 minutes of the movie, really great stuff. Up to the point where the character, Terrence Howard's daughter, Joy, is found at the hospital, and she says to Hugh Jackman's character, "You were there. I heard you," or whatever. And he runs out of the hospital, and you're like, why is that happening? The cops are after him. They're like, don't let him go. He drives his car through the parking lot, through the grass, peels out onto the street, and it's like, whoa. Then Jake Gyllenhaal finds the apartment with Paul Dano, and Hugh Jackman goes back to Melissa Leo's place, realizing that he knows that she's the one responsible, and then he, imprisons him. And that whole ending with Jake Gyllenhaal, where he comes back and finds her, and then drives her after she injected the daughter with the shit. He's bleeding and it's all wintry and snowy. I
mean, what an excellent,
that was fantastic.
excellent final drive scene where I'm like, he got shot in the face, still trying to drive through. I love it.
That was intense. And again, it's visually, cinematographily, what a great scene. And like you said, Bobby, the ending where the ominous. Yep. He hears the whistle and he turns back, and it's like you didn't get the that he did find him, but you think. Maybe it's probable, but
even in that moment, like I said, this whole thing's been a spoiler alert. But even in that moment, if he is found, what kind of life, if any, does he have after that? Because of the serious crimes that he committed against.
That was one of my questions.
I know. I will get to it eventually,
Yeah.
but that's kind of. That's why I like the end scene. It's open for interpretation.
So are we still on the scenes? Or we?
We
No,
can move
we're
on.
gonna
I was
move
going
through
to
some of these
I was
questions,
going
like best quote
I was
of
going on
next.
to quotes right now. So how about you, Woj? You got any quotes?
Yeah, I'm just trying to find the guy's name.
I got mine.
All right, Bobby, if you're ready, why don't you?
Yeah, go
Pray for the
for it.
best, but prepare for the worst. That's something that call it Boy Scout. I always try to stay prepared.
You
And
were.
my other one I was going to get to is he's not a person anymore, and that's in reference to the one person that they're captive that knows something or at least some information regarding the children and their location. So
Nice. And the one where you said to be prepared, you're talking about the first scene where they're in the pickup
Yes.
truck, and he says, "Be ready, hurricane, flood, whatever it ends up being.
Yep.
No more. No food gets delivered to the grocery store, gas stations. Any people turn on each other. All of a sudden, all that stands between you and dead is you."
Yep.
I had
I
that
like
as
that.
well.
Always prepare yourself. You never know what's around the corner.
How about you, Woj?
So I'm gonna flub
You can
up
paraphrase if you
the
had to.
name, but I like the quote just for the simple fact of like how it played into the movie, of like it then revealed kind of what we were suspecting in terms of when Melissa Leo's character, she ends up saying like right as her back's turned and Jake Gyllenhaal or Loki is at the door saying, put your hands up right now. She's like, oh, Bob Taylor is the name of the guy, but like it was Johnny something or whatever. It was another kid that she stole with her husband.
Yes.
And that's where I was like, oh shit, like that's who it was. Like you were kind of suspecting it up to that point where you're like, probably, maybe there could be a coincidence there, just a random other kidnapping.
Yes.
But as soon as she says that, and I go, and then it also kind of also gives the validation of what happened to the guy, Bob Taylor, who's played the David Dashenko. He grabs the gun, puts it in his mouth, blows his brains out.
Yeah. That's
so
great.
like it's connecting all those things in one moment. I was like, oh, that was my oh shit moment.
Yeah, I had a funny one, just like an honorable mention, where they have the drunk trumpet playing scene at Thanksgiving, and he says, "Any requests?" Says, "Yeah, the piano." And he says, "What kind of music do you like to hear?" He's like, He likes Springsteen." He's like, "I'm too drunk and black to play Springsteen." I thought that was funny. That made me laugh. All right, so now we'll go on to next category: your favorite acting performance in the movie. Who stood out to you the most? Who you think brought it? Who made it? You at the end of the movie, like he won the movie. He was.
And we can make this as a fast repeat or a fast round, so we can
no problem.
Jake Gyllenhaal, that's my vote.
Excellent. I also had Jake Gyllenhaal. I'm a big Gyllenhaal fan, to be honest. I've had season tickets since Brothers, but I thought he was fantastic as the caring detective. The look he had, everything was great.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely Gyllenhaal as the performance, and like I also am kind of a little biased because I do like the detective motif of like just like a kind of hard nosed detective who's like I'm not gonna stop until this thing gets solved, and also kind of a little bit of degenerate feel to him a little bit, like he had tattoos
I wouldn't
and
give
stuff.
him that degen feel to it, but you could see
he's got like tattoos.
Not cut from the same cloth of every
Right.
standard detective. I get it.
I mean, he also choked the guy out. A little bit degen.
You're right. I get it.
I would also just mention the. I like Paul Dano in it. Like,
he's great.
I thought he was like good and convincing as a guy who I was like, he could have done it, but not known that he did it. And like, what? It's just,
I had him as well on the list, and I had Hugh Jackman as second. I thought he was fantastic. Like he was very intense the whole movie. He dials it up quite a bit with the yelling scenes, especially that one scene where they're in the bathroom and he has the hammer and he's banging on this thing. He's like, tell me.
Yeah,
right.
Like he really just goes for it, but it doesn't feel fake. It feels real. Like his kids is missing and he feels guilty and he wants to do anything to find them. Like it didn't feel like it was overdone, but he definitely dials it up.
Can I throw in just a small mention here before we move into the next thing?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
The Hugh Jackman yell though. I do feel like it would have been better if he didn't already play Wolverine, because I already could see him like be very animated and stuff like that, and the yell. I still think it was like, again, it was super convincing of like this is what's happening, but I've kind of already heard it where it's like I think it's more of a shock when it comes out of somebody who's like played like non-aggressive kind of like characters.
Yeah.
Before that, that's just a small mention where I'm like I liked it, but I could have loved it if it was like.
Well,
out of nowhere.
We got like 8 or 9 other questions.
We're good. No, we're good. We got time. We're good.
No, I know. We got a little bit.
Least favorite performance or aspect of the movie. Bobby, what'd you think?
All right, that was Franklin Birch, played by Terrence Howard. I think just his character in general, and then involving him in the kidnapping and torture was just, for me, bad performance or bad judgment or bad sense of things. Granted, his daughter is also missing, so I kind of get it, but you're implicating someone. So for me personally, that's something I wouldn't want to drag anyone else into. And then the last thing I want to mention, I guess, for bad performance or bad linear, progression of the movie is you find a dead body underneath a priest's house, and that's pretty much the end of it too. Like I think they recover the body, but no investigation really.
It turns out that was Melisilios' husband.
Right. No, exactly. So like no further investigation, no connecting the dots. It seems like that kind of just it happened and we're moving past it.
Well, I feel like it connected the dots for us as viewers when we saw the picture of him when Jake Gyllenhaal looks at it at the house at the end, and you see the
the shirt,
the medallion, and then in the story the priest told about how he had kidnapped children and killed children, and she said, "Oh, my husband used to do that, but he died or he went missing."
Yeah.
That kind of, I think.
Right. No, I understood that it put a bow on it for the viewers, but for me, like, that.
You're saying
was
logistically.
gap.
Yeah. Okay. For me, I had, excuse me,
You're excused.
I could have used more Viola Davis. I thought she was very good and underused. The older siblings didn't really get used as much. Kind of what they were going through. They had very little of it. And then
little screen time.
Maria Bello didn't get much as well, and she's kind of basically just in the bed the whole time, depressed. Maybe she could have a little more to do.
Yeah, I'm going. Maria Bello is like, could have done more, I guess. I just that role in the movie was pretty aside from the one scene where clearly there was that the Andrei Andreshemko or whatever, the Bob Taylor character was
Dark Knight guy.
in the house, and she was like on drugs, but then it was like, but he was here, and she actually was right, but obviously she's like tripped out on meds, so like they don't believe her. So like that part was awesome, but I would like more parts like that where it gives me more I don't know, just like more into like her character coming into the play, because like once the kid's gone like missing, aside from that one scene, she's pretty much like picture she's in bed, okay, taking pills, okay, done. Like that's the rest of the movie for her.
There wasn't too much depth.
So I have next category.
Would you like some water,
sir?
Yeah,
let me get a drink of water.
Okay. No, I'll just talk with Bobby for a second. Yeah? A little hydration break. It's all right.
He's amped. He's got a lot to say.
It's the most I've talked. All right, so I had What's Age the Best? That's the category. And this, maybe you guys, I'm familiar with it because of the rewatchables, so we'll see what you had. I had Father-Son Hunting. Thought that was nice to see.
I'm sorry, what was the thing?
What's Age the Best? It's like things that you like.
Age the best.
Like
gotcha.
you like seeing in the movie that still are good, or, like you like could be old things or new, whatever. I had Father-Son Hunting. I had Drunk Thanksgiving, Trumpet playing.
Mm-hmm.
I had Maria Bello looking smoking hot at Thanksgiving. Thought she was looking good in that scene.
Okay.
I had the creepy, intense atmosphere and score, cinematography, and then Jake Gyllenhaal's hair and just overall look I thought was good. How about you, Bobby?
I guess the whole concept, and I wrote this down, it's more of a theme than anything that, what age is the best, I guess, for me is the dichotomy of good and evil. What we're capable of, because like I said, you pushed Hugh Grant, which was a respectable parent. You pushed him to a level.
Did you say Hugh Grant?
Yeah,
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Grant.
What?
Real Michael.
Going across the pond with it.
Where are my kids?
Sorry, Hugh Jackman. But basically, what you're taking is what would be a loving father, and you're pushing him to a level. And you see this in other movies too. That dichotomy of good and evil, to the point where I don't care what it takes. I'll have to step over onto evil if that means, I get the end result I'm looking for.
I absolutely agree. That's a great point.
Okay. What's Age the Worst? I just had.
Oh, sorry. I had another.
Oh, go ahead.
I
thought you were done.
Sorry, no. I was just saying. I agree with it. It was a very poignant point by Roberto. Age the Best. I would honestly have to say the, like the detective kind of like, I don't know, vibe of like the figuring out the puzzle, like going and finding all those. I feel like it ages, and this is a kind of like a weird, more like abstract kind of thing of like, it ages the best in terms of like movies still today, as well as 10 years ago, as well as 20 years ago. You can do a good detective film where there's like good investigation, there's kind of hunting things down and going from there. I like that can still be a thing. It's not like something that died out like in the 50s of I have this guy for
It always works.
Right, yeah. You can always put in different variables. Some are great, some are bad, but like it always somehow tends to work.
Okay. So next to Age the Worst, I had just like, that was crazy to see in the movie, the old TVs. I saw VCRs, some cell phones they were using were old. I'm kind of curious as to when this movie's supposed to take place. To me, that they still had that stuff, like they had like not even like the old, not flat screens, like the big ones. I noticed in like Hugh Jackman's house and in the one lady's house.
Yeah, I mean, you have to understand just one point about that is that the old lady's house, they kind of got into a set time area.
That's true. But
I'm thinking it's early 2000s, probably.
Yeah. And then I just had the name Detective Loki because it's like a Marvel character now, more known for that. Mm-hmm. Maybe another name would have been better.
I like the hold on real quick. I like the concept of Loki because there's underlying religious like tones in this because you like you said you had that Lord's Prayer, you had this devout Christian father, and then Loki itself is a name of a different god. So a lot of like that good evil.
Yeah, you got the priest and you got
the
this,
priest,
and
exactly.
he's
so
like,
there,
I
there
did
were
it.
some underlying tones there. That's all that I think they were subtle, which I liked, but one thing that didn't age well for me, or just I had issue with is the Holly Jones capture scene. I know you guys really like that, the fatal shooting at the end, and the Bob Taylor interrogation. I thought that.
You're saying they don't age
I
well?
didn't enjoy it because I thought it was more anticlimactic. She had just kind of, she was still, someone broke into her house. Like logically, you're not, she was just, moving along as she was. There was like this no build up to the point where he's like, all right, it just like. For me, that didn't make sense, as well as the interrogation.
Right. What you're saying is that she literally just turns and says, "I have a gun here," like right in her hand.
Yeah, no,
that's that's it. That's the whole.
That was it.
And
yeah,
then it's
and I think that like the comment at the end, like, "Oh, don't let them cremate me," like something, it just, I don't know, it just.
I got you.
It didn't. But like I said,
Is it on me for aged worse?
Yeah, really. Yeah.
Yeah, just the whole theme of like kidnapping little children is like people like filmmakers do it and it is a suspenseful thing, but I think overall, like I would, not like to, think about that thing in just general. So it's like, we can kind of be done with that for a while. I'm sure somebody's going to do it in the next point, but that's it.
I'm going to kind of skip picking nits, but I'll just say if I had to pick one, maybe walk your kids over back to your house. Don't trust them to get their brother and sister. There wouldn't be a movie without that, obviously, but,
Well, in the use of Finding the Invisible Man as a framing reference, that book, I think that it wasn't necessary. It simply wasn't.
Yeah. And then most cinematic shot, there's a lot of shots. I think like the whole movie is good. I'll just pick one. I like when they had the RV, like I said, when he first finds Paul Dano and he crashes the RV and the smoke's going through and he has the flashlight. I like that. Was my favorite probably. Do you guys have any
the car rolling over the the hole or the like that moment?
Yes.
That was such a cool like.
Yes.
Yeah.
How about you, Wood?
Yeah, I'll go with you kind of touched on it initially, is that like it is an area where it's just like the whole movie takes place where it's like pretty much raining and dreary and stuff like that. So there are a couple of scenes where like it's in that like it's an eerie kind of subdivision kind of look where I'm like, oh, I've seen that before. It looks like kind of like something sinister is going on. In the movie, obviously something is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just kind of like those views, and then they were doing like the search party and stuff like that, like over a lake or river type of thing.
I think like 5 or so more minutes.
Right.
So let's try
we got
to
about
muscle
3.
through. Can we do the casting?
We're
couch?
doing recasting couch.
Yeah.
So for Keller Dover, Hugh Jackman's character, Bobby, who you got?
Sorry, repeat one more.
Keller Dover, who's Hugh Jackman's character.
Yep.
Who would you, if you had to put someone else in that role, who would you have?
I actually have a different casting couch for me, or
do you have somebody in mind?
Maria Bello's character
Okay.
could have been played by Christina Ricci.
Okay.
And what's the?
Oh, you have for Terrence Howard's character, Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Would have brought more a dynamic, more of a stronger dynamic to that role.
Okay, well, did you
That's the guy from Four Brothers.
Yeah, he's definitely a more serious character there.
Do you have any recasting couch?
Yeah, so I would definitely do Maria Bello, and this is kind of just like a general thing, is like there's a lot of actresses in the early 2000s that I think could have been put in there, and I think would have made the role a little bit better. I mean, again, like
this is from 2013. Keep in mind.
I mean, even so, like at 2013, like Jennifer
Christina
Connelly,
Ricci was perfect for it.
like Jennifer Connelly, maybe, or like
I had like
Or Richie,
a Charlize Theron,
Charlize Theron, yeah, like any
Julianne Moore, Diane Lane,
I love me a Diane
Sandra
Lane.
Bullock,
yeah.
Julia Roberts. I had.
See, that's
Sandra
kind of what I'm
Bullock,
saying. Is like insert whoever, and then you said Hugh Jackman.
Have you had anybody? I had multiple.
Yeah, I mean, for Hugh Jackman, I would kind of
And
at 2013 maybe like a damn who.
so for like,
I don't know. You go.
So for me, like I wouldn't recast them, but if I did, this is what I had. Like I had for Hugh Jackman's character, like John Bernthal could have been good, Pedro Pascal. I think Matt Damon could have been good. Brad Pitt, Mark Wahlberg, who was originally attached, I thought he could have been decent. Josh Brolin, Sean Penn. If you wanted
Pass on Penn, are you kidding me?
I mean, maybe younger, maybe like 10 years before that, maybe. And then if we were doing for Detective Loki, Ryan Gosling, who was also up for it at the time, Jeremy Renner, Michael Fassbender. If we were going with like an African American actor, Daniel Kaluuya or Chadwick Boseman could have been good. I thought.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with all those. I got like another minute or so.
Okay.
So what do we got?
So
wrapping up?
let's go. Also, I had the police captain. I would have recast maybe.
Yeah, that guy sucked.
Maybe like Dean Norris or Philip Seymour
Yeah,
Hoffman.
you know what? That was probably one of the
Ed
the
Harris. I had
plugins.
Ooh, I would have liked Ed
like
Harris. there.
J.K. Simmons. Someone.
I would have liked Ed Harris. I'm a big fan of his.
What about my guy? What was it? Neil.
Oh, Neil. No,
McDonough.
Neil McDonough.
Yeah, Neil McDonough. He'd been good
Yeah.
too.
He would have been good too. Yeah.
Since we have like a minute left, I'm just gonna skip to.
How about the person who like played or like owned the role? That,
Oh yeah,
that one.
who won the movie for you guys? I guess
Okay.
would that be? You could be a director, could be the cinematography, could be script, actor, whatever you have.
All right, mine. I'll be quick. Paul Dano. Did I say that right? I think you really own that role. Very believable. And I felt that Jake really tapped into some real emotions in specific scenes, like very believable. So those are my quick hits.
Woj?
Yeah, I'm going Gyllenhaal for sure because at the end, like he does win the case, he solves it, he knows who done it, and I also think that he would have found the guy just because it's like he's at a crime scene, he's not a dummy.
He's relentless. Yeah.
Yeah, he's relentless, and then I'll just go with that.
I
one.
had director Denis Villeneuve because this leads to him getting Sicario, which leads to Arrival, which leads to Blade Runner 2049, which leads to both Dune movies, and those are all.
I've heard so many positive things about Dune,
Right.
so I need to check that out.
So a final thing I'll go say with we're gonna go with own it, stream it, skip it, and then your grade of the movie.
Go.
7.4, stream it.
Woj.
I do an 8.0. Own it for sure.
All right, I'm gonna own it, and then if we were doing like a letter scale, I'd give it definitely like an A. If
No,
we're
go with the number,
we're
1 to
doing
10.
a number, I don't know, like a 8.7.
8.7.
There it is.
I like it. Well, that was Ryan's reviews.
I just want to tease for next time. Bobby's choosing a movie. We're
Yeah.
gonna do Kingdom of Heaven, the Ridley Scott movie.
Cannot wait. I'm going to get the director's cut and check it out. So that'll be our next movie review. Good teaser.
Look forward to that.
Sorry to cut you off on that, but we will get that movie review out. This has been another segment of Fantasy Football Journeyman. We will be back at another time.
See you guys. Thanks for listening.
Welcome back.
Turn the ignition.
Yeah, there you go. To the third segment here. We just got done with the Prisoners kind of Ryan's review. So that was dope. I do want to reiterate here. So the movie that we are going to be doing, I think, is our homework next week.
Yeah, Ryan. Yeah, give him our next movie review. You want to give us a quick rundown of what we selected?
Yeah, Bobby selected Kingdom of Heaven, Ridley Scott's 2005 epic historical drama starring Orlando Bloom and Liam Neeson, to name a couple people.
Yeah. I can't wait. Can't wait.
And we're going to try, if we can, the director's cut.
The director's cut, I think, recently was released, so we're going to try to get our hands on
Which
that.
is like over 3 hours.
Yeah, 3 hours, 18 minutes, I think.
Okay, I'm just going to throw a question out here.
Sure.
Did anybody look it up in the break that it was
if it were
gettable?
streaming, I will not. I did not. I can.
Okay, because
I'll find a way. I'll Jurassic Park this.
Okay, I like the commitment. That's cool. So, Bobby, you threw out a segment though to kind of let's pivot back to football for a hot minute here. About
the fantasy football journeyman. Yeah, let's talk football.
A little bit.
Use that pivot foot.
I mean, I honestly think in the very first segment, I don't remember if I went over my bets at all. I know you did.
Oh, I got crushed the moment
But
this game started getting out of hand.
I really think that I just omitted my bets, but Woj's wagers, just so that everybody knows, already hit one.
Finally
Dope.
gets a win.
Okay, I will take it.
A broken clock is right twice a day.
But I had to mention it. I got the I think Jackson Smith and Jigba I had for a couple catches. Tony Pollard just scored a touchdown, rushed for 50 yards, and I think the other one was Dak Prescott to throw 2 touchdowns. So hit
nailed
it.
it.
Felt
Easy
good.
money.
Nailed it.
Easy
About
money.
3 more yards, and I hit another one. So we're feeling like a nice little double dip. But I had to mention that. Sorry. But in the spirit of football, Bobby, you're not a fan of the NFC South, huh?
I think the NFC South in itself is a giant dumpster fire. And the topic of conversation I'd like to dive into is Is it a total rebuild for each and every team down there?
You want to go team by team?
Let's go team by team. Let's start with Carolina. Carolina Panthers.
Well, they're still rebuilding.
So are you saying that
They're already
the
in
traffic cones are already up?
They're in rebuild.
They're in rebuild, but
This
with
is
one
your-
win, man,
this
I'm not
is-
sure.
Well, I mean, you drafted Bryce Young number 1 overall. I'm thinking he's going to stick around probably, unless. I mean, I guess we have seen the rare occasion where like a Josh Rosen or someone like that is jettisoned after a year. I don't know though. We have their pick, the Bears, so they don't have a top pick to get another quarterback.
That's what I'm saying. So I think they're going to be on the struggle bus for some time. So, Woj, your thoughts, Carolina?
Yeah, Carolina is definitely in the midst of a rebuild, and I think the kind of question is kind of directed at. Oh, I think that's 2 for 2. Nice. But I think the question is more directed as like, I would say they're in a rebuild, right? That's what you're kind of saying, like in terms of.
Yeah.
I'm saying scorched earth with almost all those teams. They're not doing well, and I don't think that outside of maybe NOLA, there's just. I'd be fine if they just kind of redrafted.
Well, I think it would really help them if they had a running back. They spent all that money on Miles Sanders in free agency. And he hasn't
Oh
done
my God!
shit.
Okay, so let's start with finish Carolina.
But
and then we'll move our way
Carolina. I
to-
was just simply asking kind of more for clarification
Yeah.
of like, is your saying of like being in a rebuild is that hey they are currently in a rebuild?
I don't even like the
put
direction
them,
of the rebuild.
But I put them as in they are in a rebuild, right?
get
I just
that.
put them in the umbrella.
I get
category.
that, but all right. Maybe I'm being a little pessimistic, but yeah, one win, and I'm not seeing the right investments on their end. So
They're still in desperate need of a coach. They've been going through them the last few years like water. You know.
all right,
like,
let's flip it over now to former Matt Ryan, the Atlanta
Falcons.
Falcons, yeah.
the Atlanta Falcons.
The Atlanta Falcons. Yeah. I for what it's worth, I think Atlanta has some key playmakers. I don't think that they are a well-rounded team. I think that there's a lot more to be done there. So I still think that I give a glimpse of hope to that program, but that's still even still not looking great on either side of the ball.
Yeah, they got Bijan. He's an explosive
I like
player,
Bijan.
great player. They need to get a quarterback, and frankly, need to change their offensive scheme. I think if they're going to want to be successful, they just like run it and run it and run it. I think they need to get more airing it out and utilizing his receiving abilities as a running back as well. I don't know, but that's Arthur Smith's philosophy. So I guess they'd probably have to get rid of him.
I'm a fan of establishing the run, but yeah,
Well,
they're right. They're not.
They're over-established.
No, I know, but
yeah.
exactly, they're not pushing the field. They're not
Yeah.
creating space for if they put 8 in the box because they know you're not going to pass over 15 yards.
Right, like if
you're set,
if they get down in a game, their game strategy is not going to help them to come back because they're not able to push the ball downfield.
All right, let's kick it to Woj.
Yeah, I think that the Atlanta Falcons are still in need of a quarterback. So I think they got pieces that they could possibly work, but I just look at it in terms of realistic contract-wise. Like, you're only going to have Drake London, I would say, for another couple years before, if he gets good enough, another team is going to poach him. Bijan Robinson, I think they're going to have to keep. He's just proving that he's such a talent. But I just think that, like, there's a small window right now of, like, if you don't get a good quarterback, because Desmond Ridder isn't it, and I think they got Heineke or whatever as a backup, he isn't it.
From Washington, right?
He's-
I like
he's a
him,
good
though.
backup,
I
though.
like him.
He's a good backup, but again, just in their specific core of people, I
Right.
don't see that they have really any potential. So I look at it as like, go get a quarterback, and then maybe you can kind of put something together.
Well, maybe the Bears lose Fields. He goes to Atlanta and with Bijan. Maybe things happen. Bears
That
get-
would be an interesting mix right there. Now, let's segue this to Tampa, and then we're going to finish with NOLA. But Tampa, granted, Brady's gone, but thoughts on Tampa, offense, defense, what they have going.
they were looking better in the beginning of the year. Baker's been decent. I don't think he's like the long-term answer. He's probably like a bridge quarterback, but
I like that concept, bridge quarterback.
You
yeah.
still got Mike Evans for a few years. He's an elite receiver. Chris Godwin is a steady, good number 2.
I'm not sold on Godwin. That's my
Rashad White, I don't know if I'm sold on him. I don't know. They seem like they're okay. Not in a dumpster fire. Not great, but maybe if they get the right pieces, they can be something.
Yeah, I look at them as like the best of the worst kind of right now.
Yeah.
Like you're kind of most put together, but in reality, if Tampa Bay, in my mind, plays any real good team, like in the playoffs or whatever, I think they'll probably win the division at least. And then from there, like, great, you're going against a good team because you're probably 7th or 6th or maybe or 4th or, whatever. It's just like you're good kind of, but realistically, like, you're not a good team. I could easily see in the next year them getting rid of Evans gone, Godwin gone, like doing
Evans
a rebuild.
was going to command a big dollar amount.
Well,
and
there was a
rightfully
contract
so.
issue,
Right.
in the beginning of the year.
You know what? I try to attribute what in Tampa in my mind. If you guys, and I know you're gamers, and we'll get to a little bit of that, but I want to kind of want to use this as a framing device.
Mhm.
It's like you're given 20 different like skill points to assign to a player, speed, catching. And the thing is, what I see is Tampa is you guys across the board picked like 4, just evenly distributed. When it that's the thing. It's like being average. You're like an average team. And, like I said, I would definitely distribute it differently, but it's just for that whole team. I see them like fucking down the middle, but that's not how you win games. Being average doesn't turn into wins.
In the
You know
totality
what I'm saying?
of
If
the
you
NFL,
like
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a good metaphor. So, last team is then NOLA.
Like I said, they have a lot of talent there. I think there's a lot of the cap space is almost gone, or they're paying penalties. They have so many big names, non-performers on their team. Outside of Alvin Kamara, I'll tip my hat to him. The guy is probably one of the most well-rounded running backs in the league right now. But outside of him, Olave, I'll give Olave some credit, but A and B doesn't get you. And their defense,
C.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't find you all the way to C. No, their defense and D. Their defense.
I like that.
Their defense has always been solid. I always like watching Lattimore and company play. They've been a solid defense, but where do you go from here? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I call it a dumpster fire because come next year, what's the game plan?
Yeah, you definitely hitting it on the head, I think, with like the longevity of like, okay, you have some pieces right now, but like, are you realistically competing? I don't see it because their defense is decent. Their offense is kind of middle of the road, can be good. I mean, I don't think it's super controversial at this point, but like Alvin Kamara is definitely not, in my mind, like he's not a top 10 fantasy running back anymore.
Whoa.
Okay.
In my mind, I don't see it. He's not doing enough to really warrant the.
I think he is.
Yeah, I think. Well, at least for fantasy,
It's on the
what
fringe,
it's
at
worth.
least.
For what it's worth, I'd put him probably close to top 10. You have Eckler. I'd rather have Kamara right now over Eckler.
Yeah, Eckler looked weird. Like he looked like he had a little bit of a problem running the ball. There was like a picture, a screen, the video.
Like a
I can't even.
Screenshot?
I can't even talk. Is it literally a video? Is a video of him?
We had moving pictures and
there
in
you
which
go. Moving pictures. But he had a video of him where like he got the edge on the whole line, and he goes. I mean, he's like, looks like he's running stride for stride, but it's so slow. And I was like, this guy isn't that slow. I don't know if he's injured or is he dealing with something.
He's missing that that next
that
level.
extra gear. Yeah, he just like he looks slow coming out of the backfield, and that's a killer in the NFL. Like oh my god.
Wow.
And that'll do it, ladies and gents, with the game. I mean,
Parsons, dude. Parsons is the real.
thrilling game, honestly. It was the best Thursday night game that we've had so far.
Absolutely, but Parsons coming at you like that, I'd toss it too.
All right, Ryan, you got a New Orleans opinion?
Yeah, we'll kind of echo what you guys say. They have a couple good guys, but they're aging. Cameron Jordan's getting up there.
Yep, love Cameron.
Or say Jordan Cameron.
Jordan Cameron.
No,
Cameron
Cameron
Jordan.
Yeah. I was an all-pro. Oh, you were an all-pro?
I was an all-pro.
Who else? Michael Thomas hasn't been Michael Thomas for like 3 or 4 seasons.
It's on the IR now.
Rashid Shaheed maybe could be a nice piece, but he's not like, I don't know, like the guy.
He's your sniper rifle. That guy
Right.
he's your speed demon.
I don't know. And then Derek Carr, I don't know, remains to be seen. Again, I always thought he's.
No, there's no
kind
more
of-
remains to be seen.
Well, I
He's
think
been
he's-
in the league long
I think he's
enough.
always been kind of like him, like okay, like not a great quarterback, not a bad one, but you could definitely use a better quarterback. Again, like a bridge quarterback.
Okay.
So
All right.
Yeah, I mean, let's kind of call it like it is, though, is that like I think the NFC South is definitely overall, all of the teams seem to be like the worst kind of versions of themselves.
Do you guys think the NFC South is better than the NFC North, or NFC North
No, I
is
think
better?
I think the NFC North is better just because not including the Bears, but the other three teams are good enough that like there is some semblance of like real football.
Right. I would honestly, and that's not. I wouldn't say by much. I think NFC North,
I was gonna say, I think like besides outside of the Lions, the rest of us don't really look that great in the division.
I know, like I said, I would agree, but I think that you float Carolina into the mix. If anything, we're looking better.
I think you're talking about the average. The average of a 1-10 team, I think, brings down the whole
Fair enough.
Yeah.
of the division.
Statistics will tell you that.
I
sample
don't have my
size
glasses
of-
on.
Strategery.
But yeah, I mean, the NFC South, I'm not looking to hate on a division specifically, but it was it is a good topic to bring up. Is like, those teams could be definitely in the midst of a rebuild, or starting to do it. At the tail, trying to maybe midway through it for some teams. But I don't know. Maybe in another world or segment, maybe we kind of divulge about each other division and just kind of see like, what do you think about this a little bit?
All right, yeah.
Well, it is the end of the year, so it's a good time. We kind of have a good idea now. At this
Good
point.
data points to go off of. But yeah, that could be a little bit of a next topic in a later segment. But let's talk about Bobby. You wanted to kind of jump into Houston though.
Yeah, so we've talked
What was
about
the
them
question?
In the past.
Yeah.
No, it's more of an opinion-based question, but flash in the pan, or is this something that's really going to sizzle? The team's showing, I think they're at, right now this week, they're going into Sunday, they need this win because it's important for their division, if I'm not mistaken. So, like I said, do you think that, was it the quarterback
C.J. Stroud?
C.J. Stroud and company, are they?
We don't know names here. Come on.
Right. No, exactly. Do you think that they're, just flavor of the week, or are they starting to developing in some like a force to be reckoned with?
I think they got the seeds of a good team. I think they're probably like a year earlier than expected of like how good they're producing. But I think they're legit. I think,
Okay, so there's some substance there, so it's not flash.
I really think that, again, it makes it so evident that having a quarterback can really bring a team together. Because, and again, a passing quarterback, I don't really know how much C.J. Stroud really, runs the ball. But definitely, the way that he's throwing the ball, keeping them in the games, that's making their team. The fact that we're even putting them in the conversation right now is because the quarterback play has been out of bounds.
Because their defense hasn't been anything noteworthy. Let's just attribute that. A lot of the games that we see from week to week, they're letting up a lot of points.
And I don't know their full roster or whatever, but, I mean, outside of him, what are some major differences between this year and last year? The quarterback.
Right.
I mean, it's evident that, having a quarterback.
I think one thing to mention, and I think he's an incredible, dangerous dude, is Nico Collins. Having someone like that to throw to, man, I'm not kidding you. I'd be targeting him quite a bit, but that guy's dangerous when he steps on the field.
He was on the team last year when they were bad.
Yeah,
so.
and I think he had an injury that kind of sidelined him for a little while. But, man, having him, and then you have
Tank Dell is the other.
Dell, yes.
And Dell, what a...
And they picked up Dalton Schultz from the Cowboys, a nice tight end.
So, yeah, now they have a more complete package for the wide receiver /
Still probably need a running back. I mean, Pierce has had a bad year this year, and I don't know if Singletary is a long-term option.
I can't believe Singletary's even doing well. Sorry, I have bad blood with him because he showed lackluster towards. I just thought the direction he was heading was out of the NFL, and now he's putting up some decent numbers for Houston. And I'm like, where did you learn how to run the ball? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Dameon Pierce was injured, so they had to go to Singletary, and then he ends up having a pretty decent couple weeks. It's interesting.
I mean, honestly, even when Pierce was in, he was struggling. He was not producing.
Did anyone see, like you said, Dell, right?
Tank Dell.
Tank Dell, just he's been blown up. I think every week he's shown, he's not dropping passes. He's finding open space. He's able to create some distance. I'm loving what I'm seeing off of this guy.
It's looking like a good trade for Adam in your league, Woj.
Yeah. 3 penis wine. Adam's been an avid trader over the years, but he's been talking to me about some trades. Finally got some people to trade for him, so good for him. Shout out.
Yep.
But
Miss you, Adam.
yeah, dude. I mean, Adam, is
We go back with Adam. Yeah.
Yeah, he's an OG dude. So the last little bit here, I do kind of want to take a turn, and talk about these, video games that kind of
Nostalgia.
yeah, kind of taking a trip down memory lane a little bit, but not really the stuff that you grew up with, like the first ones that you were on, but more specifically, Bobby, you were talking about kind of the high school kind of games. The games
The
where
high
you're a
school,
little
you come back and chill and just game out.
little bit older, kind of, again, a little bit more mature, not super mature, but hit me with yours.
I got a
first.
few, but
Go,
I like
go.
Grand Theft Auto, Vice City, and I used to play Need for Speed, coming back out. And then we always had Call of Duty. That's a little bit later on, but those two other ones, those were so fun to play, especially Vice City.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Yeah, I like GTA 3, Vice City. I was always a fan of those. Obviously, besides that, sports games, Madden and 2K, NFL Street and NBA Street, I used to love playing. And then I was always into games like stealth games like Splinter Cell and Hitman. I was big into Hitman, so I'd always be playing that kind of stuff. And Max Payne for me.
Okay. No, those are good ones. Yeah, I mean, sports games, I think everybody definitely has those. I mean, I think the pinnacle of Madden in my mind was Madden 08 or so, Madden 05.
No, the one with Vic.
04.
04 to 08 was a good range, but I think most of the sports games that I had in that area, that time period, they were pretty good. I would throw out, in terms of outside of that, some games that are a little bit I would just game for hours on those. Was one Jet Set Radio Future, which is
what the fuck is that?
okay.
What
so,
is that? I don't think anyone knows what that is.
dude, the people who know, the OG
Is that
Xbox
a
owners.
punk rock band, or what are you talking
So on the original Xbox,
I've never heard of this.
the original Xbox, there was a 2-for game that you could buy, and some some consoles came with that game.
Yeah.
But it was a dual-sided, a double game where one side was a.
We understand what it is, but
No,
what
but
is the
one
game?
side was the Jet Set Radio Future. The other side was a racing game, kind of like Need for Speed, but
and these are the ones exclusively for Xbox, right? Only
Right.
on Xbox.
Just for Xbox.
I remember that.
Jet Set
I was a
Radio
PlayStation
Future.
guy, but yeah.
Same.
Check this out. Jet Set Radio Future was you were a rollerblader tagger in the future, year 3050, and you are sticking it to the man on this underground radio current. So you had objectives of you skate through this downtown area, you have to tag this thing, you have to outrun cops. It was buck wild.
I bet you and your Avril Lavigne CD probably love just cranking both of those, coming home, having chocolate milk, and getting really hardcore.
Shout out to Crash Bandicoot. Used to love playing that game.
I love Crash
dope.
Bandicoot.
And ESPN NFL 2K5. That's the greatest football game ever.
False.
True.
Yeah, false.
True.
I think 2-1 has it there, bud.
Yeah.
But that's fine. No, I mean GTA, dude, has kind of gone through a crazy evolution, man. From have you played the ones where it was the straight
Like GTA 2.
If you
top down
blow
view?
through a red light.
I think I did, but didn't realize it at the time that I was GTA.
No, but it's it was a top down view, where you
the God's eye view.
Pre-
Yeah, no, but
2D?
GTA 3. No,
yeah.
no, but GTA 3 forward is my lifeline with that
Right.
game.
That's where I think most people got involved, when you could actually move around. But
Yeah.
I just look at it now, in any game, it's the graphics are so much cleaner now. They're you look back, you said Vice City and stuff like that.
Yeah, Vice City.
They're so blocky.
I don't care,
That
man.
I'm just
I really enjoy it.
I
man.
bought they released the remasters for PlayStation 4 a year ago. I got them all 3 of them for
Oh,
20,
we're gonna have
30.
to, dude. We're gonna have to bring him here, and we're gonna game out.
Yeah,
That sounds great.
Sick.
I mean, the newer version of the GTA is fine. I like the last 2 had I
GTA
think good,
5 was really good.
I think they had 2
Yeah,
good
GTA
stories.
5 nailed it.
5 and 4 for me definitely had good stories, to the point of I was interested to play the campaign mode, and then Bobby, you were talking about some extracurricular activities of just cruising around.
Oh yeah,
blowing
you
stuff
Just,
up
you're just
and-
cruising around, dude. You've had a rough day. You get in your car, run over pedestrians, beat up hookers. It was a great time. You felt better. You hop on a motorcycle. You hit off of the
Yeah.
freaking mountain, and you're cruising through the air. There's
I always
nothing like it.
I always like seeing how high I get the stars up and how how long
yeah.
and
Get the army
how I
after
could
you.
evade the police and the FBI and the army and like see if I could do it and then get it back down to 0 and then do it again.
All right, I'm interested now because I got a strategy.
Okay.
What was your guys' strategy if you were like, all right, I'm going to get strapped up, like go A to Z real quick of like, what do you prepare with? And then what kind of car you get and like, what are you trying to do objective wise? Like, where do you, I know my strategy.
I'd probably start by getting a shitload of guns, maybe unlock the gun cheat code, go on a roof or somewhere and start picking, and start doing whatever, getting the stars up.
Right.
And then once they get after you, you got to have a car like parked down somewhere. Like usually a sports car I have. And then you take that for a while till it gets fucked up, and then you just keep stealing cars. And you have in GTA 5, you got the parachute on you, so you can jump out of the plane if you have to or whatever.
But you're going a much more devil may care approach. You're just going, I'm gonna find something else, so I should be good.
No, like I would have like one car ready. Like I would go on the building and have
He
like
sets up his scene. I get it.
Yeah,
No, but
and-
like when you're going, like
Very
okay,
Dexter-esque.
you take the car, you're going,
Very
that
serial
gets
killer
busted
vibes.
up. You're just gonna be running to another
You're
car.
just not randomly murdering people like a healthy person would do.
I mean, maybe every now and then. Yeah, it depends. I like going doing the car chases and seeing like how long you can go with them. Like they have the
Oh yeah,
the tire strips
yeah.
and they're shooting your tires out and the helicopters
Gotcha.
and especially like when you get to the other games like Vice City and GTA 5 and San Andreas, you have boats and planes and helicopters and you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
keep going from thing to thing.
I got you. Okay, no, I get the strategy. Mine would definitely be the first part is obviously the same. Obviously body armor for sure.
Oh yeah.
Then
of
you
course.
get a good bunch of guns, a lot of variety. I like it. I had a lot of money
yeah.
there. Then usually what I would do is you just start doing illegal stuff. No big deal. Like
No big deal.
running
just,
some people.
Yeah.
Doing whatever. But I'm
Joyride.
always in
It's a video game.
but I'm also in like a substantial car. If I'm not in like a big SUV, I'm in like a truck. Sometimes I will run just like a giant semi, and those things will go for a pretty long time. But my ultimate goal, and this is what I kind of do, is like I try and get to, in the newer ones, there's the airport to a
Yes.
vehicle,
Yeah.
and then I'm trying to get away that way. But a lot of times it's real difficult. It's like a final boss level.
Yeah.
But that's kind of my strategy is like I'm trying to get away. I'm trying to fly off into the sunset, and sometimes I make it, sometimes I don't. But
I don't really have like a preset route, but usually the end of
I really think you do. In the
The
back
ba-
of your head.
well, there's a couple spots. Like the best thing usually is like
See?
getting the fast car. Like I always get the fastest cars and then going like under like a subway or something, like all the way back into the
Smart. See,
to the
that's what I like to
tunnel.
do. You got to take away the
And then
over the top the helicopter.
They won't
shooting you.
because they won't. All of them won't follow you in there. Only like a couple. And then
Exactly, and then-
once you take care of them, you just take the cop car out. Like you're a cop, and then as stars are gone, you're good to go.
okay, a
I
little,
like that. No,
little
so I
strategic.
try to do that. I try to insulate where you don't have any more. You're not getting fired from the helicopter. Like you said, you try to create more of a narrow path
Yeah.
for only certain certain guys that could come down to meet you. So
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you really can't use the highway.
But
in,
I always
in
like
those
having
chases.
some
Well,
RPG to start things off, blow up a bunch of cars.
Yeah.
Cop comes flying up.
Okay.
And now we're rolling. Now you're at 3 stars. Now you get in your car, you start having some more fun. But then you should, like you said, have a game plan where you know that this is a good spot to like kind of insulate yourself and then go from there.
Well, the tricky part for me usually is like when the car's about to blow up and they're on your ass and you're gonna die if you don't get out. So you have to like jump out of it while it's
I
moving.
triangle. Yeah, you just
And then,
bail.
like, hopefully they won't run you over or shoot you before you get into another car. But
Isn't it fun when you're in those chases where you go off and they all go, like follow you?
Yeah.
And you just bail and then you just see all their cars.
You do the slow mo. I
Yeah.
love it, dude. GTA is the best, man.
I'm loving it.
Going down memory lane.
I'm
I
glad
love
it came out when we were younger. We got to enjoy and appreciate it. I feel like
Yes.
Yes, definitely at a time where you could just sit around
'Cause I-
and play video games after school for hours upon end.
Yes.
It's the best.
All right.
But yeah, it's I like the little bit of change of direction here. I think again video games will start to creep in more and more. We'll get maybe a Woj video game.
We-
segment.
I always do. What is it? Rage quits when I play Madden against you guys because it's all bullshit.
Don't get me started about Madden yesterday. God,
Yeah, Ryan had a rough go. Madden game did not treat him well.
it was bad.
But I do want to try and maybe get to again like maybe a little bit more together section of like, hey, I'll do kind of like a review thing, but with a game and see like,
Yeah.
hey, do you guys play this? We'll obviously try and get one that everybody's played though. But Ryan, hit us with again, what's the movie that we're going to be watching for the next time?
Yep.
The Kingdom of Heaven from Ridley Scott.
From Ridley Scott.
Ridley
So
Scott, 2005.
I definitely, I'm excited, man. If this is something that kind of makes it into the regular
Baldwin the Leper, you're really going to enjoy the character of him.
Well, I feel like on this podcast we like to spray all fields, keep you honest.
And this is all historically, for what it's worth, historically accurate in the
Buffalo
sense
Spring.
that these people existed. There, so you'll see it, but there's real truth in the story being told here. So
Okay.
obviously some exaggeration, but
No, it's good stuff.
Well, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Say one thing I do know, I haven't seen the movie, but it'll look fantastic because Ridley Scott is one of the best visual directors of our time. Some of the shots he gets in all his movies are like memorable, unbelievable, that stick with you in your mind.
agreed.
All right. Well, that'll do it for here on the Fantasy Football Journeyman podcast. We will go to Ryan for a little take her out. Hit us with it. Shout out to Cannon.
Shout out to our fans. Appreciate you sticking with us and look forward to our next episode.
Love it.
See you next time.
Adios.
Yeah. That's how you do it. That's how you close out a fucking video.